Hello, I'm Obi Santos. I am Customer Voice and Experience Lead at Vivobarefoot. Vivobarefoot's a natural health and wellness brand that specialises in footwear. And I've been working there for the last 2 years, and we've been partnering with Chattermill for the last year. I look after insights, and prior to Chattermill, we had a big problem. We had lots of data, but no actual insights. So we were very good across our different platforms of understanding the customer via the data, but turning that into meaningful actions that we needed to take, we couldn't do that. So Chattermill has been really revolutionary in helping us piece together a holistic view of our customer feedback and sentiment. And that's allowed us to prioritize actions across the board. So not just within customer experience, but also different stakeholders across the business where we're sharing insights are able to prioritize their roadmaps according to the insights that we've unpicked from Chattermill. Before Observations was launched, we were able to understand the sentiment of a topic. So let's take, for example, size and sizing queries, because we have a lot of that in footwear business. And typically customers do want to go into a branch and try, but if you're shopping online, you can't always gauge your size accurately. So we could see that coming through in terms of the sentiment around sizing information. But what we couldn't really do is estimate how many of those customers within that were perhaps saying, actually, the issue I've got is that the sizing's too big, or the issue I've got is the sizing's too little. And that's what's frustrating me. So what Observations has allowed us to do is actually start quantifying some of the verbatim feedback and drill down that level deeper so we can actually tackle the root problem. The other sort of granular, more nuanced insights that we've been able to extract is around our colorway as well for the actual product and the footwear. So we've been able to understand our customers, when they say they want more variety, what that variety actually is. We can now start pinpointing that via Observations. So we can quantify how many customers are perhaps saying, I want lighter colors versus I want darker colors. We can quantify how many customers are saying, I love the colorways available, or how many customers are saying, I want different colorways. And that would make me want to obviously purchase more of the product. So Observations has been a real game changer in helping us quickly quantify those more qualitative insights, whereas before we would have had to maybe trail through the actual feedback to start sort of counting or start trying to put together that piece of analysis. Observation does it for us out of box. Ask Lyra, that's also been pivotal. It's really changed the way we engage our stakeholders across the business in terms of them being able to use the exact questions that they have and want insights on, and we can use that directly in the platform. So Chattermill's really humanized our insight extraction, and we have a lot of stakeholders who are now engaged with using the tool or wanting feedback via us to answer their most important questions. What is also great about it is prior to Ask Lyra, you'd have to go into the system, you'd have to set the filters to then extract the insights, whether that's quantitative or a bit of qualitative. Now, simply from a time-saving perspective, you can put your question in, everything then gets calculated for you effectively, and then the insights get returned. That is a game changer in terms of efficiency. I think as a business, it impacts the way we use it because actually stakeholders can self-service. So whereas before you might have needed our team in charge of the platform and our team navigating that platform, because it's so easy, Ask Lyra, stakeholders can go in themselves and actually put their immediate questions that they have in and get reports. So I think it will change the way we work. But also, I said it, Chattermill helps humanize the element of insights. I think sometimes historically, maybe insights can be perhaps a bit intimidating, seen as more numbers-based and seen as less conversational. And I think Ask Lyra just helps you build that relational element between the different stakeholders and the insights that they want to extract. It's a nice way of introducing people to insights, but also getting them familiar with self-servicing as well. Highlights as well is being pivotal. So once we've used Ask Lyra, we've got the insight sharing to us. Next to each sort of observation as well, we can view the highlights. We click on that and that's an instant dashboard. And I've honestly never seen anything as quick as that. It's a presentable dashboard that you can share with other people and they can read that information, digest it super quick. And that in itself, as well as being the time saver for my team, it's also just as a format that's delivered in, it really helps the other stakeholders across the business engage in insights. So when I say Chattermill's helped and the additional features have helped us humanize the feedback, it's one, the way in which our teams engage with the platform. It's more intuitive. We're all always asking questions, right? We're all naturally curious and inquisitive, and Ask Lyra feeds on that, which is brilliant. But then also, I think in the way that the feedback is then presented, it's more emotive. It helps put a story and emotion against the numbers. So as I said before, I think for us at Vivo, historically, we've had a lot of data and some of it's been quite heavily quantitative. I think Ask Lyra helps us put more qualitative, emotive insights behind our numbers and helps us really understand the why. And that in itself is what our teams relate to. It's not just the number, but it's the why behind the number. And as I said, the suite of tools that Chattermill now has is helping us uncover the why. At Vivo, this is how we operate with Chattermill. We're very much wanting to be efficient with our insights. So that's also with the analysis, but also with the distribution amongst the teams. So we've leaned heavily on the automations and serving various teams' dashboards automatically, whether that's on a weekly, bi-weekly or monthly cadence. In order to make those dashboards engaging, because everyone is time poor, and that's just a fact. So anything you deliver to them has to be really engaging. Because we've been able to add in snippets from observations, for example, that's really brought to life the insights. And the teams can see that snapshot of what customers are thinking or feeling. And that for them is more because they can relate to its words, they can relate to the feelings. That for them is more of a motivation to take action. Now, it could be that is our product team and the styles. So if customers are making requests on, we would like to see a sandal that looks like this, our team will take that because they can see, okay, there's quite a few observations that our customers are wanting sandals that feel very light, but also have stylized in a certain way. Our team will take that and then they can use that in their product's development roadmap to produce something that will resonate with our customers. And they're able to tell it will resonate with our customers because it's from that verbatim feedback, as opposed to maybe quantitative analysis that says 100 people are wanting different styles. That doesn't necessarily land as well. So it's more how the feedback is being digested. So the new tools within Chattermill, I think, helps make the feedback more digestible for our stakeholders and more relatable. Using Chattermill and using observations, we're able to understand how our customers navigate the website and what they find frustrating. And there's a lot of, in the observations, there's a lot of results coming back talking about filters, and that the filters to navigate the website perhaps weren't providing the best user experience. So what we're able to do is understand, one, why is it that in terms of how customers want to categorize our products and therefore search for our products, we've not got the right naming convention to support how they would like to navigate. So it's allowed us to, one, relook at that as an architectural structure of how we drill down on products, how we describe our products to customers, and how we let them search for, and make it more in line with their expectations, as opposed to perhaps how we would internally want to navigate. So I think Chattermill's very good at leading with, this is what the customer wants, this is why the customer wants that. And now with the new features, it just makes it quicker to get down and drill down into that why, the big why. It lets us drill down quicker into it, the new features, which is great. So our stakeholders have been across the business, have been very good at asking questions, whether it's pertaining to marketing. For example, how have campaigns landed with customers? Are they resonating with our new brand slogan of free your feet? And what does that mean to them? We're directly going in and saying, how are customers feeling about our brand? And we can compare that with previous 12 months versus the following sort of 12 months and see, once we made that change, has the feeling and sentiment and the descriptions customers are using for our brand, has that changed? That's what we're doing at Vivo that's working really well. Another example would be around returns and how our customers feel about that experience. We'll put direct questions in on how can we improve the returns experience, and it pulls through all the requests where customers have said, I wish Vivo would do this, or I wish Vivo would do that. It sort of pulls that through. So for us, it's been a real game changer. As I said, that saved lots of hours that manually we'd probably have to have gone through and really looked at in detail all the verbatim feedback to really get a sense. We can now do that very quickly by plugging in our questions. So in order to make the best of Chattermill and in order to make the best of observations, Ask Lyra and highlights, I'd say how can you understand how you can use the three in conjunction, because I think they work really well together. So you've got your observations, which allows you to quantify verbatim feedback essentially, and that as well is a powerful tool to add into dashboards that are being shared with stakeholders so they can get a real understanding of what customers are saying and how many of them are saying something in particular. And that acts as a sort of a first layer. If you wanted to delve in a bit deeper and any of those observations are highlighting things, you could go to Ask Lyra and put in questions, so questions that have come from those observations. So as I said earlier, if you're seeing that sizing, okay, well, size is coming up as feedback that it's too big. Okay, can we put that in to Ask Lyra? Why are customers feeling that the size is too big, right? So observations lets you act as a springboard to then delve a bit deeper in other questions that you might have. And then the highlights are just like, it's a touch of a button. Once you've gone to Lyra, got your question, gone down, you can see the snippets, go to view highlight, and then at a touch of a button, you've got an instant dashboard that you can share. So it's about that circulation. So it's almost the full circle. So you come with a particular question, or you go through and you see the observations, you then go through to Ask Lyra, delve a bit deeper, and then you go through to a way that you can share that with relevant stakeholders. One thing I absolutely love about Chattermill, and I think for us, especially at Vivo, what it's really helped is that prioritization. We do have a lot of data. We now have Chattermill helping us with the insights. But again, having data, having lots of insights, that's not great when you can't do everything. So Chattermill has really allowed us strategically to decide we need to tackle this issue first, because it's going to have the most improvement, whether it's on our NPS metric, whether it's on net sentiment metric, and it allows us just to really prioritize in a smart way. We're working smarter, we're working faster, and we're prioritizing according to the customer's needs. And I truly believe that's all because of Chattermill.